Oh,
On air. Fantastic.
on air, on air. I'm gonna have to sit away back so that my head is the same size as your avatar.
Bloody hell. It's
Ah,
funny seeing those glasses again.
it's a very different Katie. Um,
It's a 13-year-old, 13 years ago, Katie, that one. Been a while since those ones.
I have
I
a
love those glasses.
I have a grand total of 0 viewers on YouTube. There might be one or two on Facebook, in which case, come on over to uh, see where it says, "Oh, I'm going Andrew Luke on YouTube." It's gone off the screen now. You have to wait for it to come back again. I can't read any. Neither Keith or I can read any of your comments if you're on Facebook. Um, but if you come to us on YouTube or on Twitch, which is over there now, we're just about
I'm
to
not entirely
Twitch.
I'm not entirely sure if I'd want to do Facebook Live ever again. I've done Facebook Live a few times, fucking a while ago. I used to do makeup tutorials um, for disabled people on on the internet in my 20s. That was fucking a long time. That's when I lost my PayPal account because they thought I was being naughty, doing reset, like selling stolen goods. I wasn't. I was in partnership with Super.
You're like you're like the A team to Mark Zuckerberg's Colonel Decker. Maybe that's too obscure a reference for you to get.
No. I'm trying to.
But that's
Oh
what
no.
happens when you only support us on Facebook. You don't get access to interaction. You steal Katie's money. You steal my money. Um, Also, you can give me some money on Patreon, Ko-fi, PayPal. I could really use some. I've got no cigarettes left. I'm going mental. Um, Katie is just about to start broadcasting on Twitch, which is if you would prefer to join us there, that's also an option. Um, I am going to wait until then until I introduce myself or Katie. But what I can do as an exclusive for my YouTube audiences, because we typically sort of warm up in this sort of first 5 minutes, I could play Yankee Doodle Dandy on my lips with my fingers. So I know you're setting up, so I might show you what this looks like later, Katie. But let's have a go. See if I can Sylvester McCoy this. There we go. For
Love it.
one year and Katie and okay, let's face it. There'll be people watching this on catch up. I can now start to timestamp with how to play Yankee Doodle Dandy on your lips. That's the political content people tune in for, right?
Of course, yes. Please bear with me. I'm taking my drugs.
Yeah. So it's 10 o'clock, which is meds time. Remember, whenever you're watching, to take your meds 10 and 10.
Well, first when I wake up, so I can do everything else, because I take my omeprazole in the morning whenever I feel like it. Usually at about 6 in the morning.
When I take my meds, I like to have a good mix of purple ones and white ones.
What are mine's? Mine's are a sort of off yellow. That's my Pixaban, my anticoagulant, and my other pill. Well, my omeprazole's half blue, half white. It's a capsule, and my pregabalin's white, so it's plain white. I'm trying to think what's the most important. What one of the pill ones that I take? Probably the omeprazole, so I can do everything else. For anyone interested, the omeprazole is a PPI, which is a proton pump inhibitor, and it protects the stomach or corrects something in the stomach that can do a couple of different things. Mine's is to protect the bottom half of my stomach because indomethacin is a bastard.
I hope I'll not get a YouTube strike for drug talk.
They're medicines, they're prescription meds. No, they're not allowed to do that.
I got my first YouTube strike last week.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
What happened?
So I was doing so I'm preparing my next round of press gang video essays, and I thought I'll do a special feature for my patrons, exclusive, because it's been a while since they've had something that's only for them. So I essentially did not so much a sort of reaction video, but more like, most reaction videos are like first time watching or second time watching. Mine was like
Yes.
a hundredth time watching, and has read books about it and articles. And so this was kind of like to be sort of work as kind of like a rough draft of the video essay. So you've got an episode of Press Gang, which is 25 minutes long. And then my pausing to comment and pausing to comment, which extends the length of it to 90 minutes, right? So more than triples in length. YouTube decided to cut that out and issued me with a copyright strike. I appealed it within maybe 24 hours of the appeal. They got back to me, and we're very sorry, we made a mistake. It was a really weird kind of tone, like they were admitting they were wrong. We've reviewed it. We're so sorry this happened. Yada yada. We've removed the strike. If you ever get a strike again, that'll be your first strike. This one didn't count. Cool. Except I went in to look at that video and it cut out after 33 minutes. So thank God I ran it through Restream, although I have to go and pay like £18 for a month sub to Restream. Restream will have that copy of my video that I can download, I can give to patrons, I can transcribe it for the video essay. Grovel before me all you want, YouTube masters. You screwed me over, you pricks, and I'm coming for you.
That my first strike was my first strike. That one did count. My second strike, wrong. That was the one about the music doing epic. That was my second strike, and they removed it. I said, I've made an agreement. We both told you I'd be doing this, and so did they. And it is the first interaction you get from YouTube is the algorithm, it's the bots. They just anything, they just go bonk. You're done. I mean, so then it goes to human review. It goes to an actual person, which they should be doing anyway. They can afford to hire the staff. They can.
Right, yeah, I was watching over a previous live stream we'd done where we were talking about it, and it's war of the bots. So, if a bot makes an erroneous decision that impacts, there's no redress for that.
No, I've lost good streamers, good content YouTubers, content creators, ones who don't do live streams, who do video essays and stuff. I've lost two like that. They just gave up because everything they were doing was getting basically bonked, not because of copyright or anything like that, but because of sexually explicit content, LGBTQI plus. So that was two content creators I've lost, and one of them's getting a little bit frustrated. You go and check her out. She's shit. I can't remember her pronouns. Rowan. Go and check out Rowan. She's amazing, or they're amazing. I can't remember your pronouns, my dear. I'm sorry.
So I think we might have had a conversation about fair use, and I was talking about how I have a paragraph of text that anytime I am getting a copyright claim that I need to challenge, I've worked out that a piece of text that absolutely kind of works, and I send them the same one each time. So what I'm going to do, to anybody who's just watching me on YouTube now, I'm just adding that piece of text to the bottom of the video description. And I'm going to try and add it to all of mine. But essentially, I went and did a bit of a look around the law and where the law stands on use of artificial intelligence and legal decisions.
Ooh.
And so I managed to put together like just one sentence, picking up on a number of court cases. So that is, artificial intelligence is unsuitable for ruling on legal compliance as borne out by Ayindi versus Haringey and Al Harun v Qatar 2025, London and Mata versus Avianca Inc. 2023, New York. Now I'm struggling to remember what those two cases are, but at least one of them is to do with where a lawyer, an experienced veteran practitioner, presented evidence to the court that he had asked AI to help him, and AI hallucinated and made up previous rulings, and this got found out and overturned. And that set, I don't think I actually cited that particular case, but the case that it set in motion, which was about, it was a ruling on giving guidance on how AI is used and how it can affect legal proceedings, and essentially ruling against AI. I think that might have been the New York case. It was a Supreme Court case, so quite a lot of jurisdiction there. And the London case comes at it from a very different angle, but same sort of conclusion. Are you live yet on Twitch, Katie?
I am live, yeah. There's no one here yet.
Oh.
Don't worry.
Hello
what
to
was that second?
Katie's.
What was that second one called? Can you spell?
Yep, so we had Ayindi versus Haringey and Al Harun v Qatar. I'm gonna and London and Mata v Avianca. So I've pasted it into the Restream YouTube chat, which hopefully should be coming up. So yeah, I couldn't actually recall what it is, but it's not something I went and just scraped. I did spend a solid hour and 90 minutes of research it just to get that one sentence of those two court cases. Or is it three? Yeah, it looks like three court cases. But I mean, what I did, so there's a UK case and a US case, but what I did find is there are a lot of similar cases across the globe, which do not find in favor of artificial intelligence. So I'm gonna rehang this steep ditko behind me because it's really irritating me.
Oh my god. I know about that one. Is that the US one?
It's most likely to fall down.
I know that second one. The New York one. From 2023, I know about that. Legal Eagle covered it. He talked about it. He used it as one of his examples on one of his videos. Was that IND?
So I.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Mountford Chambers. Okay. Apologies, oh, yeah, the obviously there's not much. Even Wes is going to try it. I can fucking see him doing that. Hopefully they'll not will not do it up here in Scotland NHS or anything. But you can see that odious little prick, desperate, absolutely desperate to use AI or any sort of IT, any sort of tech south of the border. I wouldn't risk. Obviously, actually doing surgery or treating patients, not much an AI can do. So thank God for that. But using it in clinical analysis and things of that nature, like trying to do diagnosis. Yeah.
Not yet.
Come and try and diagnose me.
It's only a matter of time before AI starts doing surgery and goes on like a bit like Iger in the Discworld book, starts stitching toes onto noses and wieners into ears and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Artificial Igers. Yeah. Igors.
I liked Igor. He was cool. If a little bit freaky. I'm trying to think who my favourite sort of side character is. Bloody stupid Johnson, probably.
The eccentric inventor who
Architect knows, yeah.
Really quite dangerous or stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them are just silly. Don't get me wrong, and they won't work. Some of them are downright dangerous. And I'm surprised that he hadn't actually blown up Agmorpork at one point. No, like Anya, I can't remember what one it's in. Is it Cards? I can't remember what one it's in, but it's one of the City Watch ones where Anya is. They're tracking someone. They're tracking something or someone through the city, and she she didn't know, or someone didn't know, and it was either Anya or was Cheery with her. And one of them didn't know what it was, and the other one told them, this is bloody stupid house, bloody stupid Johnson's design, by the way. And the other one went, oh, fuck. So I can't remember. Is it The Truth? It might have been The Truth, actually, which is a City Watch feature in it.
Yeah, well,
I think it might have been The Truth, actually.
Ango the werewolf is in The Truth and tracking somebody. Yeah, it's more of a, although I suppose it is a watch book, but it felt to me more like an industrial novel and how much focus it gives to Ankh-Morpork's newspaper people.
Yeah. It's been ages since I've read a Discworld book. In saying that, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 8, literally right at the end of my fingertips, on my left hand side, next to up against the wall in the bookcase. They're all hardbacks. Thud, Winter's Tale, Wintersmith, Making Money, The Truth. What's the other ones? Faith of Time, and hang on, let me make that one out. Feet of Clay. God, it's been ages since I've read Feet of Clay.
I'm working my way through my first read of Monstrous Regiment, which I'm really enjoying. It's very slow, but it is the start of that sort of last 10 Discworld novels. And what's kind of I'm starting to feel the hardness of that Discworld fans talk about, knowing that there's only so many left to read, and after that there's no new ones. But
a lot of us were hoping that Gaiman might step into the breach and do some ones similar, but no, he is persona non grata now.
The good thing is there's so much in terms of adaptations. There's actually a few adaptations I have seen that I think most Discworld fans aren't aware of unless they're like total experts. For example, there's a German DVD adaptation of Lords and Ladies that's meant to be about 3 hours, and it's got English voiceovers and English subtitles. I'm not quite sure how to get hold of a copy, but I will be doing that at some point. Got the Sky adaptations of Grove Hall cartoons.
I've seen that.
Graphic novels coming out in the next.
I've seen that, by the way. I've seen that one, by the way.
What's that?
The Lords and Ladies adaptation.
You've seen it?
Yeah. My bestie's got it. She's not here, though. She lives in New York. She's a pediatrician in New York. I can email her. I can get it.
If there's a bootleg copy, I do have the email of the original producer, and I don't mind paying for it. But the email I had to get through the Wayback Machine. So that's, it's that old and it's that buried. So, wow. And what did you think?
It's quite good. The Germans, it's a little, the production is just as good as ours, obviously. The way that the direction for the taking from book to silver screen or TV or anything like that is always it can be a bit janky, a bit weird and stuff. It was a little bit different to British eyes, especially with not one of the more popular ones, oddly enough, which is weird. I've always thought that one a bit weird. but still loved the book. The book was brilliant. No, I've got favourites, obviously, but it was it was good. Yeah, I'll see if you want to. If you want me to, I can email her. It usually takes her about a couple of weeks to get back to me, though. Who'd have thunk it? Pediatrician busy. There, she's currently dealing with a measles outbreak over there. She's fed up. I keep on saying to her, "Come back home, sweetie."
So I wonder, if we make a start for the early birds and the people that are watching us later. Let's introduce
people
yourself.
the people coming into my chat. Most of them will have seen a couple of videos on this anyway, and I've brought it up in the past.
Well, I am incredibly unpopular, but about to go through a meteoric rise. So let's introduce. I'm Andy Luke. I live just outside Belfast in Northern Ireland. I used to be a cartoonist, but now I make YouTube content, and I'm kind of probably the best in the world at doing that. Nobody has noticed apart from you, because you're the most important person right now. I do live stream on Saturdays with Katie Marshall, who's over there.
That's that way. Good evening, everyone.
Katie, would you like to introduce?
I'm Katie Marshall. I'm a streamer. I stream on Twitch primarily and YouTube when it's behaving itself. I do politics and health and disability issues, essentially, in some history as well. So, for all my sins. So, this was my idea. This one for this week. Doing the Zimmermann telegram, which is round about the World War I era. So over a century ago now. I have discussed this one before on stream. The short version of it, essentially.
Yeah,
basically the Germans being naughty.
Repeat that, because there's once I looked into this, there's layers and layers, and like it kind of just so many extra components, but we could probably sum up the meat and bones of it in about 4 or 5 minutes, couldn't we? And then down. So yeah, I'll have a go, and listen, just audience, just bear with me tonight. I've already told Katie I suffer from a minor form of epilepsy, which is still a massive pain in my arse, and I've been having a bit of a crazy day with that. So just bear in mind any little pauses or that might come from that. If it gets too much for me, we agreed I'll just leave and leave Katie holding the hassle. It won't be a hassle, will it?
God, no. If you need to banish, you do that. You don't put your health at risk. You've been warned. I've had people trying to educate me before. I can be stubborn at times, but it's not worth the risk now. If you feel you need to go, just say, I have to leave and I can take over. Don't you worry. Especially with epilepsy. No. I might just, like I suffer and stuff, but I just ignore it. Just here. I put my pain in a box and lock the box and chuck it in a trench. Sometimes works.
I've been told I have Katie's advice, and I hope you learned something from that too. The Zimmermann letter was, the Zimmermann telegram was Germany's attempt to counter America getting into World War I by using Mexico to turn against America, and the telegram was intercepted by British code breakers and carefully
Bastards!
leaked to America, which was a major contributory factor to America actually going into the war. Unlike the Zinoviev letter, which we looked at last week, the Zimmermann letter was actually real. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Actually,
mean there weren't levels of fraud and deception involved with it.
Of course there was. Britain was involved.
I'll tell you, it doesn't exactly cover Germany with glory either. There's this whole narrative about the Versailles Treaty and how it was unfairly punitive on Germany. Germany's actions in all this were like really effing treacherous, really out of order. I mean, war generally is out of order, but these kind of stuck out to me as really, horrid.
Yeah, I don't know why they were risking it, and knowing full well back then. Like, don't get me wrong, we've still got some of the best networks in the world, the intelligence networks in the planet. But back then, we were peak, and a lot of the training that the Americans got was given by us. You're just like, can you help us, please? We are trying to set up blah 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 blah. So we knew exactly how the Americans would work as well because we fucking trained them.
Well, yeah,
as always.
So the Zimmermann affair in 1917 really did go on to influence the history of code breaking. It led to, back then, the code breakers in Britain, Room 40, led to Bletchley Park and Alan Turing in the Second World War, which led on to GCHQ, code breakers and spy rings and stuff. So it was quite important. I'm surprised I'd never heard of it until now.
Oh, I'd heard it. Oh, I know why I'd heard of it. I'd heard of Room 40 before, but I knew people. They're no longer with us. They were friends of a friend. No, not a boyfriend or a partner or anything. Just they were a friend of mine that I used to do sessions, help step in as session drummer for them, and his best friend worked for the intelligence services for Britain, and I found out from him about the history and stuff. Some of it, what you could say. So I was the youngest person in this. The person that I was talking to back in the day, he was in like his. So I'd be 20, he'd be like 42 or 43 or something at this point. He's going to be 66 later on in the month, like next week or something. And he told me about Room 40, so I've known for about 20 odd years, roughly. I knew about Bletchley Park. We all got taught that in school and stuff, because obviously 90s. But yeah, I knew about it. Many people do, actually. It's weird.
There's a few things we can. I've got that I want to set the scene with. So, actually, Germany and America had, up until Germany proposed that Mexico go to war with America once America entered the war. And prior to the war, German-US relations were quite good. They had very strong trade ties. US was their top import partner. Germany was the second largest partner to America behind Great Britain. There was a large sort of German American population.
Yeah. Actual direct Germans were living there. They immigrated over and stuff in the preceding like 30, 30 years before this and stuff. So yeah, it's still actual German citizens, people who were born and brought up in Germany and moved over and stuff, and other German settlers, people of German ancestry, who had arrived in like the preceding 50 years before the war. So yeah, there was quite a lot of actual Germans and German Americans.
I know the Germans and British had been chewing at each other's bits through an arms race, at least as early as 1906.
Oh yeah. No, we'd been in an arms race since about the 1880s.
Right. I think it really sort of did heat up, would have heated up though. And
It got heated up at the turn of the century, essentially. Yeah.
You
You
had
can thank Super Hubby for that one.
The Brits had their dreadnoughts, which were pretty fast and tough. I was looking at some footage earlier, and they just look like big. I've got the phrase "smoking guns on water." They just do look big.
They're mad looking, aren't they?
Yeah. They used something called two-power discipline, or no, sorry. They were run with discipline. They used something called two-power. So what they meant by this was that a dreadnought had to be capable of besting enemies or ships of two other nations. So that was the standard. Two power was the standard that they had to be built at and perform at. And you also had, so I think it was 1913, Marconi telegraph shares were out in Britain. So you had the birth of radio at sea in war. This was all incredibly new. And all nations, major nations in the war had it. The flip side of it was that with sending messages back and forward to the capitals, there were security flaws, there were massive bugs. So that led to the whole birth of code, or, well, codes were always around, but codes and code breakers became more and more important.
It did indeed, yeah. Well, there's always been ciphers, there's always been codes. Funny old thing, the human brain. There's been some of the oldest ciphers are like a couple of thousand years old. It's mad. The Greeks used one, but they were basically symbol, the actual physical things. It's only in the last sort of leading up to this, in the last sort of century, that we devised algorithmic math-based symbols, numbers, or alphanumeric codes. Were basically from 1800 essentially onwards. But there's always been codes. I've got a book about it. What is it? Oh God, I can see it. It's over there in the history section. I got Super Hubby a book on it. It's sitting over there. You can borrow it if you want. It's a really good book. Tells you about the codes and things like that. Fun.
The most important part of this prologue came 2 weeks into the war, where the Russians captured a German Imperial Navy code book, and they gave it to the Brits in room 40 to have some magic with.
I wonder how they got their hands on that.
Well, that's it was. I've read two different sources on this. One of them says it was a German officer, Wilhelm Wasmus, who abandoned it in Afghanistan. There's another story that a German ship ran aground around, I want to say, is it Denmark or Russia? And they thought they'd destroyed all the precious stuff. They left the coat aboard.
Probably would have been Denmark.
When the Russians went aboard, they found it. So the complete sort of master key. So, oops.
One of the ones that I read earlier on, I didn't know whether I wouldn't even know how to begin verifying this one, that we'd actually got it from a white Russian agent, like someone who was connected to the Tsars, to the Russian monarchy, and he managed to get it and gave it to us. How the fuck am I going to verify that? Well, don't get me wrong, the White Russians were actually working, we were cooperating, well, we were giving them material and aid, essentially. So that was one of the sources I read a few years ago now, that we got it from a Tsarist agent. How would we check that? Excuse me, Mr. Putin, can I check your records? I need to see if a White Russian helped us in the past. I don't think he'd like me.
And it seems to me a lot of the Zimmermann incident was brought about by Germany's own stupidity. So there was a treaty in place. I don't know if it was a Sussex Treaty or something, but essentially it said that merchant ships wouldn't be fired upon.
Yeah.
And within that, civilian ships. Hindenburg, Ludendorff, and another decided this was, they weren't having any of it. And they were going to wage unrestricted submarine warfare. Now, although they wanted to make sure America remained neutral, there was a very good chance that this all-out warfare would take down an American boat. And, if it was full of civilians, that would turn America against Germany, and they would enter the war. So they decided to circumvent this. Considering this hypothetical, they wrote to the Mexican ambassador, and actually directly to the president, Venustiano Carranza, who they'd had a really good relationship with. He regularly invited their diplomats over to his sumptuous palace for hangouts. But the pitch was something like, we'll make war together, we'll make peace together. If you fall in with us, so should America enter the war, we propose that you enter the war with us, and we will give you arms, we will give you training, we will help you take back the states of Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. And there was a lot of resentment at that time about America taking states from Mexico that was still quite raw, and so this offer of a redress was something that was seriously considered. Um,
Mm.
but what actually happened and as a footnote, I think Mexico were on good relations with Japan. So the Zimmermann, who was the German foreign secretary,
Foreign, yeah, he was foreign.
yeah, he was keen that Mexico used their leverage to bring Japan into the war on their side too. I mean, it was a kind of a key period because um, Zimmermann, who did an awful lot of this kind of shady shit, he had used his forces in Russia to get Russia to bow out of the war. And he was also stirring shit in Ireland and India. So with Russia
Yes.
just pulled out, there was a bit of a window of opportunity with regards time. And this is how Zimmermann wanted to use it. But anyway, because this telegram had disclosed that they were returning ahead of time, that they were returning to unrestricted submarine warfare, as well as the whole proposition of Mexico going to war with America. When the telegram was rumbled, that was a massive disclosure.
Yeah.
I think before we go into this, there's another actual important prologue, and that's what went down in the Battle of Jutland. But I don't know if maybe now is not. I don't know. Maybe we could talk about that, or maybe we just go on into the telegram and come back to Jutland later.
It's brought up at the start of one of the videos. It mentions it a bit, and I think that should be enough. Jutland was one of the major battles in the First World War, by the way, everyone.
Yeah. Why the Battle of Jutland is important to us in this story is this was a massive battle that code breakers managed to figure out, a whole sort of lure. The Germans were going to spring a surprise and decimate a substantial portion of the British fleet. The code breakers worked it out. The captains who had jurisdiction over the fleet ignored the code breakers. They challenged them. They had a whole frosty relationship with them. And what could have been a massive
because
victory,
the captains were idiots and pricks.
Yeah. So they had all this advance information of the Germans' plans, which they could have acted on and actually sprung the trap on the people springing the trap. But because of personal politics, they ignored them and suffered massive losses, suffered more losses than the Germans. So any kind of advantage was one. So when I have the stats in front of me, what should have been a British victory by far? The losses to the Royal Navy were 14 warships, 6,274 men, compared with the German Navy, 11 warships, 2,545 men. So, yeah. I mean, there shouldn't have been 6,274 men lost because a couple of men couldn't get along, couldn't respect one another's work. I mean, that's the whole story, isn't it?
Well, you have to remember a lot of the captains back then were still, don't get me wrong, they were good. They're good training and things like that. But you have to remember a lot of them were upper, middle, and upper class, and arrogant bastards, saying, "I know this. I'm better. I've done this. Blah 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 years," and we suffered for it essentially. It just because of their not wanting to cooperate with someone. And they probably, some of them probably thought this is a challenge to my masculinity or to my intelligence and all that sort of nonsense. Said, no, these people have got this information for you, and they've got it. Maybe modernity wasn't to their liking. That's always another possibility, and we suffered.
Yeah, they threw it away. What should have been a victory out of
we should have won that one rather easily.
Snobbery.
Yeah.
Never a truer sort of description of the phrase "cut off your nose to spite your face." More
Your
like
face.
cut off your head to spite your face. Or
Yeah.
One of the reasons the code breakers were so important, and at the very start of the war, Britain went around cutting all the undersea cables for Germany, except one, I think. So they were reliant on other methods to tap signals from Germany, and tap they did. There was some real spy shit going on.
Yes, there was indeed. Like I said, we had that we were one of the best at the time. Don't get me wrong, we're still we're still up there. Don't get us wrong. Don't get me wrong. It was obviously the British state got people flung far and wide across this globe, and we'll probably never find out most of it. I don't know. I'm sure most of the stuff has been released now from the First World War. Most because it's all over a century old now, so it all should. No, none of them. All of them are dead now. All of the ones who could possibly have commented on this, they've been like the last few have died sort of recently in the last sort of 2 or 3 years, essentially. So all of the ones who are in this sort of world, that especially with the intelligence gathering and stuff, they've all been dead and buried for the last sort of 30, at a minimum, the last 30 years they've been gone, essentially. Some of them have been gone. Some of them were used in the Second World War as well, and some of them didn't survive. So they managed to survive the intervening years. Then World War II saw an end to them, essentially. So most of those files, I'm sure most of them have been released. Mind you, you can't actually ask if there's anything getting held because they'll just say can't comment. Mm-hmm. If it gets released, it will get released.
It seems to me the British Empire pretty much ended when they surrendered India in just after World War II.
Pretty much.
But they had were a major power, and as a major power, major network communications. So there were two methods by which they intercepted Zimmermann telegram.
Yes.
Two particular routes it took. So the first, let me see. So Woodrow Wilson allowed the Germans to use their network of like American communications because the British had cut the phone lines for diplomatic use only because America was neutral. So the telegram from Zimmermann to the President of America went via their American embassy, maybe, or maybe that comes later, via the embassy. It says embassy in Berlin, American embassy in Berlin.
Then the American embassy in Berlin.
then via Denmark, Copenhagen, where it was picked up by a UK coastal monitoring station and to room 40, the Admiralty building of codebreakers. They didn't know that, of course. It went on to, well, it says here in my notes, US. So maybe that's when it went to the US, or the second time. But from the US, it went to the ambassador, the German ambassador in Mexico. The other route Zimmermann sent it as was, so it went via Argentina. I guess the French consul in Argentina, and then on to the French consul in Sweden. The British had tapped the phone lines of the Swedish consul.
Yes.
So it went from there, it went to the ambassador in Mexico.
We were ostensibly on friendly relations with Sweden, by the way.
Yeah. So this was this is an
Naughty.
interesting element of the story, because the Brits in room 40 who are decoding this, and they decode it fairly quickly, actually. There's parts of the text missing, but they get the gist of it. But they've got 2 copies of this thing, so they can verify its authenticity pretty much. But they're not supposed to have copies of it.
Yes.
They've been tapping the phones of their mates to get copies.
Yeah. That's
so,
like catfishing your best friend or something. That's mad.
And so if they go to America with this news that the Germans and the Mexicans are allegedly plotting against them, they've got to admit that the British, are eavesdropping on the US. They've got to admit the existence of room 40, which has to be a total secret.
Yes.
And there's also the risk that by alerting America, that those messages could be intercepted by Germans, and just so any kind of advantage is done. And remember what I said about the Battle of Jutland, because the Westminster Oiks forked that up so much, the Germans weren't aware. I think I'm right in saying the Germans weren't aware that, the British could break the codes in this way.
No, they didn't know. No, they weren't aware at all.
Early warning by getting their messages to America intercepted, it could be a double. The Americans or the Germans might have the jump on the plan with Mexico, but also the jump on that their codes had been hacked. So there's a lot of moving parts at play here.
There is indeed, yes. It's mad. Yeah. Our stances towards like friendly nations, pretty much most of, like, other than the Germans, most of the European nations and stuff. Put aside Russia for a second. Friendly relations, obviously, European family, European friends, and everything. No, we're all spying on each other. It is madness. We should have been. I like diplomacy, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you do need to go and scalp a country at time. Back then, at least, you had to go and do that. Modern society, not as much. We don't need to be doing that sort of nonsense anymore. If anyone can hear me in Whitehall. So yeah, with European family, essentially, mostly on friendly terms, a good intelligence gathering for all of us, and helping each other after a fashion, I guess. But yeah, where some of the tensions came in was that sometimes with the French, sometimes history, gotta love it. And we were helping the Americans, obviously. We wanted them to come over and help and stuff. And certain factions within the American establishment, so like the politicians and stuff and industrialists, wanted to get into the war. Some of them for blind capitalistic reasons, obviously money, and some to foster good relations with the old world back here in Europe. Always a bit fraught with the Americans at times back then. Should be a bit more fraught now, really, because reasons. I'm not going to get any of us struck down tonight. I'm going to behave myself like a good little girl.
I got very excited last week. I sent you a very excited text after you suggested this, and I perused the Wikipedia page because it features somebody who's popped up in my research a bit. That's the British Director of Naval Intelligence, Reginald Blinker Hall.
Oh, yeah.
He was a bit of a mad one.
Yes. Not that they've ever been known to work for the British Empire at all, ever.
He was a bit of a cranky control freak. But what is ascribed to him is how he sorted out this problem of letting the Americans know, but not letting the Americans know. Essentially, so he was alerted to the existence of this telegram by his code breaker, Walter Hines Page. I wonder, actually, should we read the text of the Zimmermann letter now? Because it's quite clear. Do you want to do that, Katie? And I'll see if I can bring it up on the
I was
screen.
going to go into Wikipedia and get it. Yeah.
Yeah, you go on and do that now. I'll give us a bit of accompaniment on that.
Okay. Oh God, I can't read German. Okay, everyone. I will take it away. This is the translation from German into English. On February 1st, we intend to begin submarine warfare without restriction. In spite of this, it is our intention to endeavour to keep the United States neutral. If this attempt is not successful, we propose an alliance on the following basis with Mexico: that we shall make war together and together make peace. We shall give general financial support, and it is understood that Mexico is to reconquer her lost territory of Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. The details are left to you for settlement. You are instructed to inform the President of Mexico of the above in the greatest confidence as soon as it is certain that there will be an outbreak of war with the United States, and suggest that the President of Mexico shall, on his own initiative, communicate with Japan, suggesting the latter's adherence at once to this plan, and at the same time offer to mediate between Germany and Japan. Please call to the attention of the President of Mexico that the employment of ruthless submarine warfare now promises to compel England to make peace in a few months. Acknowledge receipt. Zimmermann.
Explosive. So this was a gift the British had been looking for. The way to get America to come into the war, which is what Germany did not want to come into the war on their side. But how to do that without admitting that they'd been tapping the phones that they'd been doing in News International. So I'll leave that up for another minute so people can check out the text on that. So there was a man. They had a source in the Mexican telegram office, and Baker Hall arranged for him to be bribed to get a copy of this letter. So that had a few differences. So it was fully decoded. It was stamped as being in Mexico. So there was more authenticity. And this is a copy that British naval intelligence would give to pass on to the American ambassador and on to Woodrow Wilson. And the British cover story would be, this is how they intercepted the telegram, not the other two interceptions, this one from the Mexican telegram office. And just to seal the deal, they would also have found in this telegram office a German code book which backed up all the stuff that was on this decoded telegram. Found it, right?
Exactly. Found it.
So the perfect cover story. And so this went via, let's see, so who was involved? Walter Hines Page, US ambassador, met with Arthur Balfour, the foreign secretary. And a week after meeting.
Can I pause you a second?
Yep.
One of my fillings is loose and I've been having trouble with it all day. Just got a sharp pain in my tooth. Ouch.
Oh.
I only went to see my dentist 2 months ago. Fuck. Stop doing that, you bastard. That's past. Carry on. Sorry about
that. Yep. So, yes, ambassador, the British Foreign Secretary met. They passed this letter about, and it got to Woodrow Wilson, who had really been, as we said at the start, favouring neutrality, good relations with Germany, but all these revelations just. He publicised the letter a week later, and it was completely authentic. Zimmermann had sworn on the authenticity of the letter to the press and in the Reichstag. 16th of April 1917, the subject of the letter came up before the US Senate in terms of entering the war, and they voted to do so. So, yeah, that is kind of what happened in terms of how it concerns. That's the big broad strokes in terms of how it concerns Germany, Britain, and America. I mean, there's also Mexico. The effect on Mexico and how Mexico responded to that.
Yeah.
Those big strokes, it's often been called I've seen it called a few times, something along the lines of the most important interception of the war. Certainly it has a big influence on code breaking for the whole pre-internet code breaking. So what's that, like, yeah, 80 years? Yeah, very important stuff.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So everyone, room 40. Then you got Bletchley Park, like your code breakers for the Second World War, and it was there. I can't remember when it changed over. So then it's GCHQ, which is just outside Milton Keynes. I can't remember where GCHQ is. I'm apprehensive to check. I'm sure it's just outside Milton Keynes. I'm sure it'll tell us where it is because you can see a full picture of it. Where is GCHQ? Where is GCHQ?
Not on the original site. It's much, much bigger now. The concrete grew.
Cheltenham. Oh, it's in Cheltenham.
The posh part of town.
Yeah, it's just outside Gloucester. Well, Cheltenham's a city. I might want. Oh yeah. The government code and ciphers. Government known back in 1919. Government code and cipher school. Wow. And they are fully above board. They are good people. They just make sure all British citizens are safe. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, GCHQ, who will be my newest sponsors on Patreon. GCHQ, you could give Twitch bits to Katie, Madcat 79, Scott II.
Scotty I is a weird one. You can blame the pigs.
We look forward to
the Scotty are actually Irish, but they moved over here, and the extra I got added on by the pigs because reasons. You can ask a Pict. She is currently talking, apparently. I've got Pict's ancestry, so. The second I is superfluous. It's just because we're individuals.
Oh, not to do with like two eyes?
No, the I designates where it was where they're from. I don't know if Ireland does the same as us. Is a geographical basis for naming things in Ireland? Is it's like river, hill, mountain, valley, whatever. The places get named like that. So we're the same here in Scotland. It happens in England and Wales as well, obviously. But for lots of parts of England, it's named after people, named after this man, usually a man. This person done this, and this settlement was founded, or this town was created, and blah blah blah, and all that stuff. So they've got more place names named after people. Most of ours, especially up here in Scotland, are for terrain features.
Do you think Germany?
Some are named after.
Do you think America was justified in coming into the war, or that Germany went beyond the rules of war?
All's fair and living war, apparently. Back then,
I mean, it's a bit of
that one specifically. In general, maybe back then, would they have came in anyway?
Well, that's
if the presidential election had went better, and Grover, who was it? I can't remember the other one. the two main ones. So was it Grover Cleveland? So the vote got split. Wilson should never have been president. Teddy Roosevelt should have been, and he would have just went like that, started mobilizing immediately and sent them over. And they would have came in about a year to 18 months before they did. Not at the last breath, essentially. They missed most of the fun. He would have came in quicker. Wilson didn't want to do that. He had a large isolationist streak to him in certain aspects, in certain policy areas and stuff. So he would have been drawn in eventually, I believe. That is my reading of the situation. I've read enough about it. So they would have been drawn in at in some capacity, even if it was just to give us things, or a lot of Canadians would have joined in, like they did in the second.
I mean, it's quite clear the Germans seriously underestimated the British. But the
they should have known better. They should have known better.
Predatory behaviour did just
yes.
So that treaty that they had in place where you didn't fire on civilians, to just toss that out the window. I like to say I like to think they deserve what they got with America, but I mean, you can't really apply that logic in war, because war is just war. It's barbarity. It's mass murder because we are humans, and we're so good, us humans. Yeah, mass murder. Yay. The rules of war is an oxymoron as far as I'm concerned. Anyway,
it's like it's a way we use that as a get around essentially. It's
little excuse for killing each other, but we've put some thought into that excuse, so thought and stuff.
It's mad. I think that they probably would have came in. Germany should have known better, and they know exactly what we were like. We'd been spying on them during the Franco-Prussian, for fuck's sake, just 30 years beforehand. They knew this. We were helping the French, for fuck's sake. Certain elements in the British society, British intelligence gathering back then for the Second Franco-Prussian War, we were helping both. There was elements helping both sides, both helping the Prussians and the French. The French still lost. We won, though. Both of them got weakened. Don't go into a war lightly in Europe. The British will probably capitalise on it.
Sorry, say again?
They should have known better. Any other European nation where we're at war, where we're not concerned, if we're not involved or anything, don't risk it, because we will try to. We're usually the ones that took advantage and usually got off quite well from it. Many times in history that has happened, like the 80 Years' War and stuff like that. When the Reformation as well, to a certain extent. So we've always capitalised on it. Like I said, we've got one of the most well-established intelligence networks the planet's ever seen. Apparently, Alexander had one better than ours. No, he just went and fought people and killed lots of people. Don't get me wrong, they had great scouts and everything, but we had one of the best and most well-established spy networks in Europe and parts of the made in North Africa and stuff from like 1600s onwards, like the late 1500s. So like the 16th and 17th century, these networks have been in place for like centuries at this point. We've got intelligence networks set up before America existed. Like, no, like the United States of America. So it's mad.
I wanna talk a bit about Mexico
Yeah.
and their response to this telegram, because it did arrive with them before it arrived with America, and what the consequences of this telegram were. So to set the scene, there'd been a Mexican civil war since 1910. The president Venustiano Carranza, thank you,
Well done.
was regularly challenged by opponents. Did support him, but there were also increasing tensions between America and Mexico. There was still memories of the seizing of Mexican land for America. The British cover story that they had intercepted the Zimmermann telegraph after it reached Mexico was something that would cost Mexico, but for the before that happened, Carranza did seriously consider Zimmermann's offer. But this because they were in friendly relations, but decided against it for a number of reasons. Essentially, they thought Germany wouldn't actually help. They wouldn't make good on their promises of troops and taking back lost territory, the three states. They also believed Germany couldn't help. They wouldn't be able to get around British blockades.
They wouldn't be able to, no.
Even if they intended to, if they were to make good on their word. The third was you have this civil war that Carranza's fighting, and you don't need an extra war coming in on top of that. You don't want to be fighting a war on a number of fronts. Fourthly, there was if Mexico comes in on Germany's side, that's going to leave them very vulnerable to accessing oil. As important then as it was today, as it is today. So you're going to have blockades blocking oil reaching Mexico. And of course, the big one, America was just too big, too huge for Mexico to stand any chance of victory. I mean, they were just across the border, so fighting with them was no problem, but actually winning was very, very unlikely. Hi, Mr. E.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. It would have been, they wouldn't have won. Don't get me wrong, if they're opening maneuvers to actually do this, they might have gained some territory and stuff. Not much, maybe about the bottom third of Arizona's the one closest, essentially. Largest land border. They might have got some of it, but then the Americans would have just steamrolled them. Essentially, they wouldn't have survived. And at that point, you would have been looking at an ascendancy, and they would have just went right back over the border and just took them all out, lock, stock, and barrel, and put in a either outright took it or put in like a puppet regime.
So
I think they would have outright taken it personally and just said these are states now.
There had been a number of border skirmishes because there were these tensions between America and Mexico.
Yeah.
When Wilson considered the Zimmermann telegram, he did so publicly. He put this before the Senate, before the American people. This was the decisive piece of evidence that was used for America going into war. So it was big news. And this inflamed a lot of tensions between America and Mexico, even though Carranza had considered it and said, no, we're just going to continue to remain neutral. That's not how many Americans saw it. Many Americans presumably saw it as part of a conspiracy, part of a plot of Mexicans consorting to overthrow the United States. As bigoted as they are today about that. Sorry, Americans in our audience. If you're here, it's probable you're not that American we're talking about. U.S. Mexican were ongoing.
My main mod.
Border wars. Sorry, Katie.
My main mod here. She's American. Shana'll be fine. Don't worry about her.
Hi, Shanna. Shanna Craggy Pants. Shout out to Mr. E. Shanna Craggy Pants, Bean Farmer, Alexon, and people that are lurking, and people that have not yet shown up but are watching the repeat. So, 1918, we have the Battle of let's see if I can just pronounce this correctly. Might have to take off my glasses so I can actually see a bit better. The Battle of Ambos Nogales, which is Ambos is 2 towns. So Nogales was 2 towns on the border. Where there was just this huge conflict. It started by somebody trying to cross the border without showing proper paperwork, and a marshal gave pursuit. They essentially ducked through the checkpoint. It wasn't a big thing. A marshal given a pursuit because they thought they were trying to bring contraband through. The marshal on the other side opened fire on the marshal, and it just grew from tensions, and these turning into gunfire. There's a few people dead, and that brings the 2 armies together. Just incursions on each other's land, and within the space of a day, the Battle of Ambos Nogales, you have a huge amount of people killed. There's a lot of disagreement on whether it was 30 people or 130 people. Certainly 129 graves were dug. Which, I mean, in my estimation, if you've got 129 graves, that's possibly going to mean a lot more than that were actually killed. Those are just the ones that are being admitted to by the Mexican authorities on both sides. And it was primarily Mexicans that were killed and primarily civilians that were killed. Which makes me ask, was this a war or a massacre? But the Battle of Ambos Nogales, which was caused in large part by the Zimmermann telegram, just led to this increase in borders and checkpoints and this emphasis on security in the American Mexican border that we have today. This history of stoked fears that Mexico is an American security problem, with all the racism invested in that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, definitely Mexico is a victim of the Zimmermann telegram.
Yeah. Hmm.
And yeah, so a lot of the bigotry. Like I don't know what Mexicans think of Americans, but I've seen, um, mostly through watching The Shield, how and Donald Trump, how right wing Americans
Yeah.
think of Mexicans, and it's that's all down to the Zimmermann telegram. Yeah.
Yeah. Major contributing factor. Not good.
Even though, you know, Mexico was at presidential level was totally innocent, had said no to
Yeah.
the Germans. They
Yeah.
considered it, right? But you do in wartime.
Yeah. Kind of
But it was,
sucks,
it was a
doesn't
firm
it?
no. Yeah.
No, it does suck. Nothing kind of about it. It does suck. It's horrible, really. Just because of geopolitics, a lot of the nonsense of the world, especially in America. Shanna, I love you desperately. You know that, don't you? But your government for the last, like, all of my life, really, they've sucked. They've sucked. And a lot of this is due to geopolitics reasons, really, and because they're seen as the global hegemon and everything, it has made it so much worse.
It must be really frustrating to be an American right now. I can't imagine. I mean, we are we Brits are sorry, Scots, you live in Britain, the island of Britain. So I'm going to use the word Brits. We Brits are constantly infuriated by the things the British government does in our name. They're a source of
Yes,
constant, although we have no responsibility for them, there is a
right.
level of shame, and just frustration and anguish. And so, I mean, I guess that's our only sort of keyhole into how it must feel to be an American who has awareness. Uh, yeah, the
I was
things
going to say, I was going
perpetrated
to say we are,
are horrendous.
I was going to say we are stoic, but we are used to it. No, like there's a cultural and a societal sort of feeling to being British. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm British. Don't worry, Handy.
Some
I will
stuff
still
don't.
say that I was British. And no, some people are
Fine.
adamant that I am not British. They will fucking say this to you at great volume. They are not British. They are Scottish.
Apply
I
Schrodinger's
class
cat
myself.
grammatical rules here. You're both British and not British at the same time. There
Yeah,
we go.
it's
Quantum,
it's not.
quantum liberation.
Yes, yes, yeah. The stuff that has happened in our country's past. Obviously, it shapes who we are to this very day, essentially. And a lot of people just go, "Nah, I can't. That doesn't bother me. I'm fine." And they've got more important things to deal with. There's people like myself who's got a lot of time on their hands who can do a lot of research, watch lots of videos and shit like that, and other sorts of media surrounding me.
when I
So
think
I
about
can look into it a bit better.
when I think
Exciting.
about British Northern Irish governments, I mean, like on one level, I can sort of other them because it's so clear that they don't represent me, and that they're insane, um, and that they're living in their own little echo bubble. Um, but then, othering them is the wrong thing to do, and that's brought home by the people that aren't governmental figures, that don't have that power, that don't have that pay grade, um, that don't have that fake of respectability. The people that are like working men and women who also have these levels of bigotry and delusion and violent behavior
Yeah.
and support of these things that are so contentious, of like going to war, like uh, diminishing the rights of minorities, supporting fascists, um, of endorsing criminals. And when it is your next door neighbor or somebody who lives in the next street over, it is so hard to, or is harder to other, um, that, or can be, um, rightfully.
Some
You also
people.
you want, because they're not right, and you are certainly righter.
Yeah. I've met people in my life who have actually othered family members, actual literal siblings. They've othered them because reasons I won't go into, for some of them at least. And yeah, it's easy to other people. It is the easy way out. Essentially, we shouldn't be doing it. We shouldn't. And the Zimmermann telegram is one of the ones that gave the Americans a reason to other the Mexicans and other Central American nations. They're all the same. They all look the same. They all think like this. They're all out to get us. No, 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 we're not. No, we're not. At least not now.
Yeah, the Germans and the British absolutely helped set that in motion, though,
They
and
did,
this is
yes.
a problem. Uh, well, apart from the mass loss of life in wars and injuries and that, but when countries are placed above people, when nation states are assumed to have consciousness, or project that projection of treating nations like people over
How
treating
can a
people
la-
as people. You know what I mean?
how can a landmass have a conscience? It's a landmass. It's a geographical feature. What makes the country up are the people. So the people, they're humans. They're people.
A country
Yeah.
doesn't think. A country doesn't feel. It's
No,
just soil and rock and water.
uh, we could do with the resident philosopher for some of the
I mean,
for that aspect. He's
if
brilliant
we're
at it.
gonna talk about countries having thoughts and feelings, then we need to be giving animals a vote. We need worms down at the ballot box. Um, we need frogs signing petitions. We need horses in the Senate. Um, yeah. Let's see how committed they are to this.
There's a good few asses in there. There's also a good few asses in the House of Lords and in the Commons, oddly enough.
I have 12 as loyal Andy followers know, I have 12 gerbils downstairs, and I reckon there's a good number of them that would be happy to serve as this nation's prime minister.
They do a better job.
Take up key cabinet roles. So
Yes.
yeah, maybe have cats or dogs who would also be interested in positions in government.
That'd be good.
To represent this country and its
Yes.
thoughts and feelings. Let us know about your pets and if they would be good for service. I'm very interested in hearing that. Katie has a Discord. I believe there's a pets channel on
There
that.
is indeed.
So, yeah.
Anyone, hang on. I'll get the link.
Yeah, I'm going to throw. Can I throw your Discord channel link in YouTube's comments?
Yes, carry on.
I will set that up right this moment. So
I will be back momentarily. Andy, give me a couple of minutes.
I will do a little bit of cover. So I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to. I do want to. Don't want to do one. I don't think Katie's Discord's going to get flooded with spammers because I put the link in, but this will just be a 7 days link. So that's in my YouTube comments now. And you know what? I may as well put it in Katie's Twitch. I think most of Katie's Twitch followers are members, but there it is. If you're not already on the Discord, please come and join us. You can give Katie a sub on Twitch, which is £4.99, or if you have Jeff Bezos' Amazon Prime, with your membership comes the ability to give a subscription to any Twitch streamer. That is worth £4.99. It is included with your Prime as a thing. So you can go and do that. You can also buy Twitch bits, whatever those are, for Katie. You can join my Patreon, which is like $1 a month. So it comes to I think it maybe comes to $1.40. There's like tax. And you get advance access to all my videos, which at the moment is a Patreon exclusive, 2 videos as well as this live stream. So at the moment I'm making 4 videos a week, and you're getting advance access to 3 of them. So what's that, like 12 advance accesses a month? That's pretty competitive. And if you even understand, some people are like funny about subscriptions. Where's the money coming from, or when's the money going to go out? It goes out on the 1st of the month, so it's really handy to remember. It's only a small bit. It's a fairly obvious date for when it's being taken out. You don't actually pay anything now, so you can go and subscribe to patreon.com/Andy Luke now for 10 days and decide you don't want to try back before you buy, sort of thing, because you won't actually, unlike other Patreons, you won't actually be charged right away. So you can go and check that out. There's also a link in the description if you'd like to send me a few quid by PayPal or Ko-fi. Yeah, so that's nice. So tonight we've been looking at the Zimmermann telegraph. We've pretty much covered the mass of it. I'm just going to go through my notes and see if there's anything else I want to bring up about that. Oh yeah, minor footnote. They wanted to bring the Japanese into the war. That didn't really happen. Oh, you okay, Katie? Katie popped out and popped back in again. Oh, are you talking? Because your
Give
microphone.
me a give
Ah,
me a second, Andy. Sorry,
okay,
I'll be there
okay.
in a minute. Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't really know what effect the Zimmermann telegram had on Japan. Um, but maybe you can let me know in the comments what role, if any, did Japan have in World War One? The Battle of Jutland we touched upon very briefly, which was essentially a sort of a Coventry scenario in that the British had cracked the code of a German trap, but because of the British oiks ignoring the hardworking code breakers, they threw away a victory um, and cost the lives of thousands and thousands of men, 6,274 men. Part of the responsibility for that was for Admiral Jellicoe, which is presumably where the name for Star Trek The Next Generation's contentious Admiral character who allowed Picard to be tortured by the Cardassians. Presumably, that's where the name came from. Admiral Jellicoe, in the real life situation, was a dick. He threw away what could have been a British victory, and he was sent to a desk job as punishment. Of course, his replacement in that role, Admiral Beatty, was just as guilty. So yeah, jobs for knobs, um, and yeah, and part of the legacy of the code breakers, Katie was talking about Room 40, and then on to Bletchley Park and Adam Turing, and then on to GCHQ. Um, the hacking of the Zimmermann telegram also made Germany more resilient in code breaking efforts so that they were better prepared when that evolved into what would happen in World War II. It also inspired the Americans. There were some key American code breakers in World War II that trained at with the British code breakers at Bletchley Park, went back to America with what they learned and were able to deploy those code breaking skills to take on the Japanese in World War II. Um, and of course, yeah, a few other phrases I just wanted to share. So the importance of the Zimmermann telegram was not what it contained, but well, actually, it was what it contained, but how it was delivered was like really important as well. The British had to show receipts, so they went and got the receipts that the Americans could see, essentially the acceptable receipts. Um,
Acceptable.
the acceptable receipts, and possibly a bit of
Andy,
doctoring as well with regards that German code book. I wonder,
I
was that the
wanted
one
to.
that they lifted in Afghanistan or off the
Oh,
boat, or
possibly.
was that genuinely found in the Mexican post office? Who
Hmm.
knows? I don't.
I wanted
Some
to. I wanted to comment on something you said there before. Yes, that's where they got the name for the character. One of the main writers for the show, uh, British nerd. So yes, that character Jellicoe was literally lifted right from the pages of history. Yes, and he was named after Admiral Jellicoe. It's mad. It's a lot of sci-fi writers. They might be British. Just warning everyone out there. Don't get me wrong. There's American and Canadian ones and French, but some of the best ones, oddly enough, are British. It's brilliant.
I'm gonna
that's
use that opportunity to take a loo break myself, Katie. So I'll be right back.
you going to do
Leave
that.
you holding the audio.
Scribby! Rejoice, comrades, the resident philosopher. Philosopher. Holy fuck. Haider and Flanders. Fucking hell. Poor bastard. Thank you very much. Yes. Say hello to Scribby, everyone. Scribby is awesome. Scribby helps this lunatic. How goes things, my comrade? Zimmermann telegram. Wow. Stupid bloody Germans. Stupid.
Do you just call me a stupid man?
No. Stupid bra. Praise be that you don't need to wear one of these bastard things.
My bra's fine. It's an intelligent bra. Yeah, that's probably what's coming. Smart bras. I don't know quite what a smart bra would do. Maybe put itself on. Have some kind of automatic adjustment for when it's like an anti-difficult setting. Maybe it would like tell you the weather or like receive phone calls or very bizarre. Yeah, we don't need more technology. We're fine with the tech we've got. Let's figure out the tech we missed. Let's figure out how to shoot sandwiches at poor people.
Yes.
Mystery writes, Andy should paint his door blue and go into this TARDIS. It's not a bad idea, actually. I don't know that I can, but my landlady's lovely. If I ask her, she'd probably be fine with that.
My wedding meal with my family was TARDIS themed. You can thank my medals. My wedding reception, like the meal after. So it is me, super happy, and my family. I offered an olive branch to my in-laws, and they basically told me where to shove it. Fine, get wrecked. My middle sister, praise be her, asked me what I wanted, and it said, "You know what I like. You know, I'm sci-fi and things and fantasy," and they went with the TARDIS theme, so it was all this as close as they could get, and there was little, tiny little wooden TARDISes on the table, and the table runner was Doctor Who themes through it. And I don't know how she managed to find it. The Starry Night one, the explosion, the painting Starry Night with the TARDIS exploding. That was the table runner going down the middle of the table. It was brilliant. Oh God, I can see them right there in the box. And
I've got a segue into a promotion, but is there anything else we want to say on the Zimmermann telegram? I mean, I think I've pretty much talked all my notes.
I don't have any of those. Oddly enough, Scrubby, they're on my Amazon wish list. All three of them. The
What is
one is 3 books from my resident philosopher. Trading Game by Gary Stevenson, or Vulture Capitalism by Grace Blakely, or 4 Chancellors and a Funeral by Russell Jones.
No, me neither, Scrubby.
That Grace,
got any of those?
that Grace Blakely one is meant to be brilliant. That one might be.
The segue from Moffat era Doctor Who, I can go to early Moffat press gang on Wednesday. I will be releasing a 2-hour, just 3 minutes shy of 2 hours long press gang video essay. Stephen Moffat's press gang, his first work as a writer. He wrote all 43 episodes, and even though that was back in 1990, it still has a cult following. It's one of his most treasured works by fans. I have a 90-minute 17-minute essay, video essay on that, with contributions by loads of people like fanzine editor Stephen O'Brien, press gang program guide editor Jim Sangster, Rich Johnson of bleedingcool.com, who is one of press gang's big fans, author Tristan Sargent, loads of people, but it's the biggest, I think it's the biggest thing I've ever worked on in terms of video output. So, I mean, if you're on Patreon, that's up there now. But it will come to the rest of you lovely people on Wednesday. And tomorrow morning, in like 12 hours from now, I've also got my Sunday Comics video about, which is just me talking about British independent and underground comics for 12 minutes. Yeah, that's an awful lot of plugging by me. I'm aware I do an awful lot of plugging, but you know what? When you work as hard as I do, you want the love. You want to make sure people can give you the love.
Yes, of course, of course.
So you jam it in their faces. Yeah, Katie, who are we doing these live streams versus? Whose face are we jamming it in?
Damn it, I can't get comfy. Give me a minute here.
Are Kevin and Helena on? Or have we beaten them?
Wait, they never went live.
Oh, so we win tonight. But they're like second place. They're kind of Kevin and Helena are Kevin Logan and Helena No Justice MTG are, I'm pretty sure, where Katie and I met. So we are kind of like their offspring, if you will, with their children.
Yeah.
But tonight we've beaten them because they didn't even show up. So like we're the better streamers. So suck on that, Kevin and Helena.
I don't know if, hang on, I'll check something. Were they playing today? Give me a minute. Kev put something rather fun in his own Discord. Give me a minute, I'll see if they were his team playing.
Everybody go and follow No Justice MTG and Kevin Logan, who is Ploppy111 on YouTube, and he has a different name on Twitch, which is something like KF Logan 1875 on Twitch. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Mystery
That's
writes,
funny.
I had to explain who Julia Swahala was by explaining absolutely fabulous, and her big sister in EastEnders was to Mrs. E about a week ago. Sorry. Um, yeah, and Dexter wasn't American. No. And I was fooled into thinking he was. Some people just did not believe the accent at all. And a lot of us were taken in by it, myself included. That accent was very controversial. It was given to him. The producer, Sandra C. Hasty, was American and figured that if they had an American character on the show, it would help the show be sold to America. So they saddled, by their own admission, saddled Dexter with that accent. Press Gang never really sold in America. It had no effect. And meanwhile, Dexter had 5 years, 43 episodes where he had to put on that accent. Yeah, Nadia
Dexter
Swahala. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Kitty.
Dexter Fletcher.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's done that past then, obviously, because that was a while ago and stuff. I don't
if
know
we
why
weren't
he's got I
broadcasting
love
to
his.
YouTube, I'd say let's put on an episode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't risk
43
it.
with a American accent. Yeah, I don't even know how to impersonate Dexter's American accent. It wasn't bad, but it did kind of fudge a few of the better lines in Moffat's scripts. That and him being a young writer, he didn't really. And yeah, he liked to have his. You know how Moffat's dialogue is quite fast paced, so he was still learning
Yeah.
how much you could put into scripts. I mean, timing in Press Gang was very key, and occasionally a director would shoot something and realize they had like 2 minutes to fill, and they'd send it back to Moffat, and Moffat would write a bit extra script, or it works the other way as well. Bits of lines had to be cut because they couldn't figure out how to. Or Dexter Fletcher would walk across the room, and it would take him maybe this X amount of time to walk across the room. So the dialogue had to be written for X amount of time because Dexter's character Spike was kind of like a constant wisecracking joke machine who was constantly talking. One of his character traits was that he couldn't shut up. So that dialogue had to equal X time. Much like me, he couldn't shut up. Yeah, that's where I get it from. Julia Swahala's sister, Nadia, who, yes, was in EastEnders. Most of you should know Nadia has been very outspoken on social media about the Israeli genocide on the
She has been, yeah.
Palestinians. Her and her husband are doing an awful lot of good work on that on YouTube and Instagram. Swahala Adderley's. I'm a bit late to the party.
They've been on Bold Politics. Those two have been on Bold Politics now. Everyone go and check out that interview, by the way, that Zach done with them. With them.
Oh, they've been on Zach's show. Wow. Okay,
yeah.
I must check them out.
It's good. She's delightful. I love her. I can't remember what sister was in Ab Fab.
Oh, that was Julia.
Was that Julia? I wonder what it was like working with Joanna Lumsley.
Lucy Benjamin from Press Gang was also in EastEnders with Nadia
She
Swahala.
was, yeah.
Um, I think she wasn't. I think there might have been another Press Gang alumnum. Well, I mean, alumni. Like there certainly would have been a few background actors. I wonder was Lee Ross in EastEnders? Lee Ross, who was a important part of Press Gang's first 3 years.
Who's their dad,
Who
Scrippy?
was in Star Wars Andor, played quite a big part, played the role of Cloris. I've yet to see Star Wars Andor, so I
Same
know
here.
no
I haven't
bits.
seen it yet.
So please don't spoil Katie or I.
I
We
haven't seen it.
appreciate your enthusiasm. Shut your mouth, darlings. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching Andor. I had a conversation with my Discworld Pod co-host PJ, who just utterly impressed upon me how badly I need to watch it.
Cool.
He says it's the prologue to Rogue One, and he watches Andor, and then when he binges it again, and when he watches it, he goes and watches Rogue One, which, like me, is his favorite of the non-3 original Star Wars films. But he says even though he loves it, it's like there's a massive drop in quality between Andor and Rogue One. He says.
Oh.
So, I mean, I adore Rogue One. I thought that is a way to do a Star Wars film. And it's the only convincing act I've seen. So I'm very excited about Andor on that basis. If Andor can make Rogue One look bad, I'm up to see what it's offering. Thanks very much for joining us, Mr. E. He says good night, Katie. Good night, Andy. You
Bye,
take
Mr.
care.
E.
Rest and restore, my friend. Good sleeps. And I won't be far behind. If you tune in at the top of the stream, I've been having a bit of an epileptic day, but thankfully it hasn't really affected our stream. We've had quite a good stream. Katie and I both
it's been great
together. Yeah, it's great.
Are you feeling okay?
I'm feeling good. Yeah. Just aware that I don't want to push my luck.
Don't
Probably want to eat later, so I think I'm up for talking a bit more, and then I will nip out, prep some food, and I'll come over to your Twitch and just sort of lurk and chat. And
cool. No. I'll just check something. I was asked Gribby who their dad was, and he's put a link in my chat. I'll just click on it a minute. I don't know who this man is. Oi.
Oh, the Swahala's father?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know something about him. I just can't remember. Is this his filmography? Right, so he's an actor in his own right. He's from Jordan. That was the thing. But I didn't realize, oh my goodness, he has a filmography dating right back to 1960. 1964, 2 appearances in Danger Man, which was, I think, was Patrick McGowan's vehicle, pre The Prisoner. And it's a really, really long bibliography. The Return of the Pink Panther, Sinbad and the Tiger, Space 1999, The Professionals, Bergerac, Open All Hours, The Living Daylights. I mean, Lawrence of Arabia, a huge bibliography for Nadim Swahala. All the way up to Tel Aviv on Fire in 2018.
Oh my God. Is that their dad? I recognize him.
So 6 decades of acting work. wow, I had no idea. Um, like with that level of, I'm just going to post this in my, um, if you don't mind, Scribbly, I'm just going to post this in my YouTube chat. That'll be in the live chat if you're watching this on repeat. Just bring it up. So no wonder Julia and Nadia like grew up to be talented jobbing actors with their father so involved with his craft and his art and just regularly um well, I mean, finding work but carrying out the work as well.
My God, man. Ah, I recognize him. Wow. He was in the up-to-date version of the Avengers movies. Wow.
I suppose I can screen share. Yeah, that's worth a little bit. So how do I? Oh yeah, there it is. So I don't think I've ever seen him in anything, but then I'm cinematically illiterate.
Oh my God.
What was Dangerfield?
You didn't.
He was in 50 episodes of something called Dangerfield.
It's a American sitcom type thing. I remember it. It's somewhat from my teenage years. He was in an episode of the Sweeney. Holy fuck.
There's two Sweeneys listed. Sweeney exclamation mark. I wonder, was that a spin-off?
Go back to the one with the question mark. No, that's the film. That's how they closed off the Sweeney. The original Sweeney. That's how they closed it off with that film. So anything you see with the Sweeney beforehand is an episode. That one was the film, and that's how they ended the Sweeney.
He was in the 1974 film Vampira. Fun fact: in an episode of Press Gang, Linda Day, who is played by Nadim's daughter Julia, is referred to as Vampira because of her caustic, acerbic personality. And this is a running joke through the episode that she's referred to as Vampira. There we go. So right down to 1960 to 2018. I think the man's still with us. Yeah, 91 years old. Born 1935. So that first job would have been when he was 25 years of age.
Not bad.
So wow, what a pedigree. 82 known acting credits.
Do not put in Roger Moore. He's done everything.
I've been there for a while.
I think the only one that rivals him in Britland essentially would possibly be Michael Caine. Like, they've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
L. Ron Hubbard, not the L. Ron Hubbard because he's dead. Or L. Ron Hubbard, good to see you tonight. Asks who Nadim Swahala was in Space 1999. The credit lists him as Zoran in one episode. Maybe he played the Space 1999 equivalent of Zoran Mamdani. I don't know. That's just not on my part.
It was
But
it,
also
it's pro-
demonstrates that I'm an optimist. I'm not a bitch all the time.
bit part. If I usually go if it's one credit and it's mentioned in IMDb, it's more than likely the antagonist of the episode, like the sort of villain of the week or something. Quite a lot of them were. Because they all used to pop up in all the sort of British productions, be it sci-fi, drama, cop thing, whatever. They're usually either if you've got a credit in Casualty, you're a victim. Other than the main cast, obviously, something horrific's happened to you. Doctor Who, you're either an additional companion, someone that helps the Doctor and the companion in the episode, or you're a villain of some description. Or if you're like a cop drama, like I don't know, The Bill or something.
Yeah, so I make these press gang video essays. And with each one, I do a section where I do a deep dive on a key actor in the episode, or maybe a regular cast member. And I've lost count of the amount of times I've scrolled through IMDb credits, and there's so many British actors where it's just like Casualty, The Bill, Doctors, Casualty, The Bill, Doctors. And often you get like, I'll scroll on and maybe an actor has been in Casualty 5 times, but playing 5 different characters. And again, this happens with EastEnders, and there's other culprits, but yeah, because of the sort of the value of background actors or one-off guest appearances, you do get a lot of these coming up in British actors' IMDb credits. Well, they'll do something for one episode, and then that's it. And like even like really good actors, well sought after actors, yeah, they pop up for one episode. When if you were the casting director, common sense would say, well, no, you don't want this actor for one episode. You want this actor for lots of episodes, maybe not even like a regular cast member, but if you can find a way to use them for 6 episodes or 3 episodes rather than one, then you're going to go for it. But yeah, I wonder, has Peter
One of
Capaldi done Casualty, or probably not Casualty, but The Bill?
No, it wouldn't have been The Bill. Check the Scottish one. Check Taggart.
Ah.
That was one of the jokes that they done in Chewing the Fat with, I can't remember what actor it was, and what one it was. Is that for Kiernan? And he goes to interviews trying to get jobs, like acting roles and stuff, and they always keep on asking anyone who comes into these interviews, it's basically a joke, that what episode of Taggart were you in?
So I know he was in 2 episodes of Crown Court in 1983.
Ah.
Those are consecutive. So that's parts 2 and 3 of a multi-part story. Let's see, it was an episode of Minder. There was a 1980 show about girly detectives called Cat's Eyes. And a lot of British actors working in that period tend to turn up in Cat's Eyes. 3 action women. So Capaldi's in an episode of that. Rob C. Nesbitt, of course.
Oh. Well, he is from Glasgow.
Like other popular ones, I mean, here's 3 series in a row in this listing that other actors tend to show up in as Ruth Rendell Mysteries, Poirot, and Screen 2.
Ah,
Also, the comic strip presents. I would see this a lot, yeah, which was from that same British comedy kind of outfit that brought you the young ones. So it was a particular wing of British comedy. So you had Rick Mail, Ed Edmondson, uh, Nigel Planer,
Nigel
Don
Planer.
French, Jennifer Saunders, Lenny
Yeah.
Henry, I think.
He was in a couple of episodes, yeah.
Yeah, the kind of the Alexi Sales. There's somebody whose name I'm really just really escaping me at the moment. Who was like I'm gonna have to look this up because he was like a major player in the comic strip presents Richardson. There was of course the guy that played Mike in the Young Ones. I don't know if he was he part of the comic strip presents. Oh, Keith Allen, Robbie Coltrane,
Keith Allen.
Keith Allen, yeah.
For any younger audience members, that's Lily Allen's dad.
Yeah. And Alfie Allen's
Dad as well.
Sonia.
Yeah.
Keith Allen was a Welsh actor, pantomime star, magician, comedian, musician, and TV presenter. Robbie Coltrane is somebody I wouldn't really have associated with that group, but from what I've learned about the comic strip presents, yeah, he was very integral part of that. Peter Richardson was very key in that, in terms of setting the agenda for the comic strip, which was a series of like almost like films, comedy films of like a film of the week.
Holy fuck, I forgot about that, Scribby.
And also like those core members of that comic strip presents group, Edmondson, French, Mail, Planer, Jennifer Saunders, Alexi Sales. Peter Richardson was very key sort of in envisioning what they did and like also helping to launch the careers through the young ones. Because I think the comic strip both predated and succeeded the young ones. So yeah. And Peter Richardson actually was initially to have played the role of Mike in the young ones. Was a difference of opinion with the show's producer Paul Jackson, so the role was given to Christopher Ryan instead. And of course, comic strip was it toured America. It attracted fans and Jack Nicholson and Robin Williams.
Wow.
It's kind of, I mean, it was slightly before my time, but I was aware of it being on TV an awful lot. It was very influential on the landscape of British comedy at the time. There were a couple of feature films as well that went to the cinemas. And as it ran for about 6 or 7 years. It actually started to attract some really big names. You got huge stars showing up in it. Kate Bush, Ruby Wax, Capaldi, Elvis Costello, Ozzy Osbourne, Paul McCartney, Brian May. So huge names.
Wow.
We must sit down sometime and just watch a bunch of Comic Strip Presents episodes. Mr. E mentions not the 9 o'clock news, which I think might have more been the other wing of British comedy, the sort of the Ben Elton,
Pamela Stevenson.
Is that Fry and Laurie and Smith and Jones?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Ben Elton involved in that.
Oh, right.
Fry and Jones weren't, but you did have that whole crossover with the Blackadder. I mean, that's kind of the Blackadder wing of things.
Yeah.
I mean, Rowan Atkinson was marvelously prolific, and they weren't wings as such. I mean, you do have a lot of crossovers, like the Secret Policeman's Ball, for example.
Yeah.
The same comedians, the same producers and directors involved. I mean, I think Bob's press gang directors, Bob Spears and Lorne McGorry, were involved with the Secret Policeman's Ball, with the Comic Strip Presents. I mean, Bob Spears was a remarkably prolific British comedy director. He worked on Faulty Towers. He worked on The Goodies. A lot. The Comic Strip Presents a lot of stuff. So yeah. Old university students, and if I was to read into your question, was there some kind of agenda or conspiracy by the elite institutions? If I was to ask that question, Mr. E, the answer would be yes. A lot of them went to certain Oxford and Cambridge colleges, were members of the Footlights, Theatrical Society, and
Andy,
so you can trace a link from those colleges to the BBC, to Channel 4.
Andy, how did the Pythons meet each other?
The Pythons were Oxford boys as well, weren't they? Or were they Eton?
Were they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Hang on.
Most of them. I think animator Terry Gilliam might have come from outside of the group, or one of the Pythons might have come out of the group. I mean, that's not. I think by saying that, I'm not taking away from their talents. I completely recognize. We're really lucky to have that actually in Britain. That's a really rich heritage of comedic talent. I'd slag off British culture an awful lot, but yeah. I mean, the Pythons are recognized worldwide as some of the best of comedy inventors. The Blackadder shows, it takes you to watch shows an awful lot of times before you get sick of them. I doubt there's anybody who have seen the full Comic Strip Presents things so often. There were so many episodes of that. The young ones, much like Blackadder, still they made what 18 episodes, and you can watch those. Many of you have probably watched those on repeat, like I have.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
not to
Scribby.
take away from that
And
sort of
thank you, Elron.
closed elitist network, which still goes on today. Part of the reason I'm doing a master's in film and TV production is because I was reading about who the BBC are taking in on. The BBC recently announced an award going to Northern Irish people for the first time, for taking in new staff. And I went through that list, and everybody that was on that list they weren't young 18 to 21-year-olds. They were people who had masters in film and TV production. So I thought,
Wow.
I'm perfectly capable. I may as well give myself a shot by their terms and go for this film and TV master. So that's why I'm doing it. It is still a closed system. Having talent, putting in professional practice and hours and studying yourself, it's not enough. You're not going to get a job in TV or film through anything
So
other
you,
than your outsider luck. You need qualifications if you're going to go that route. It's the same now.
as Super Hubby says, you need a bit of paper.
Yeah, absolutely. Well put. Now it's wider. They no longer just recruit from Oxford and Cambridge. There are opportunities outside of London, but you do still.
There's quite a lot up here.
As Super Hobby says, have that bit of paper. So paper and talent, hopefully, will get you further than it used to in the past. Certainly.
That'll be good.
Did you find out where the Pythons? Were the Pythons Oxford?
Yeah, they're Oxford. Yeah, no, Cambridge Footlights. Cambridge.
I think there were others from the Footlights Society. Another group of. Certainly, there would have been comics that went through Footlights Society.
Oh God, yeah.
Weren't in the Pythons, but made their name regardless.
Cambridge, yes, Cambridge. Thanks, Elron. I knew I'd got that one wrong, and I checked. I keep on changing them, and I don't even want to get into the different colleges within both of those universities. There's far too many of them, for fuck's sake.
Okay, while I have screen share capabilities, I'm just going to bring up a list of former Footlights members.
Oh, dear God.
It's like from the very first name is Douglas Adams. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Clive Anderson. David Armand.
I don't know David Armand, but Alexander Armstrong of Armstrong and Miller. Also a script writer on Veep, The Thick of It. Peep Show? Is he the co-creator of Peep Show? Is that Armstrong and Miller?
Richard Ayoade.
Richard
Ayoade. Oh, dear God. Baddiel, who's
a dickhead, but undoubtedly a star. Moana Banks.
Bloody hell.
Wasn't she part of that Scottish troupe who did a sketch show with Stonybridge? Was that Moana Banks? What was Stonybridge part of? Was it Absolutely? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? There's a lot of names here I don't recognize, but quite.
Robbie Bathurst.
That's my problem.
All the ones from like the 50s and 60s we might struggle with. Christopher Booker, Pierre Bradshaw, fucking hell. Katie
Tim Brooke
Bresic.
Taylor, the lyricist, composer, and playwright for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Wow. You know what? I don't hold it against him.
There's
Leslie.
Graham. There's Graham Chapman. John Cleese. Olivia.
King Charles III.
God. Peter Cook. I knew about Peter Cook being in Footlights.
Olivia Colman, and she's in everything.
She's brilliant. I love her. She's a great actress.
Hugh Dennis.
Russell Davies.
But not Russell T. Davies.
No. No. Milo Edwards. Oh, Christ. Mark Evans. Fucking hell. Julian Fellows. Peter Fincham.
John Fortune, who older viewers would remember. David Frost.
Bremner Burden. That John Fortune. Fuck. He's the same age as my father-in-law. Christ.
Stephen Fry. Graham Garden. So the Goodies came fully formed out of Goodies was a phenomenally imaginative show.
Stephen Fry, Graham Garden, Bamber Gascoigne, fucking Mel Goodrich.
Yeah, I wonder did Sue go? What's Sue's surname? We'll have a look
Perkins.
at Sue Perkins. Murray Gold. Wow. The Doctor Who composer of great note.
Yes, the Doctor Who.
Jermaine Greer. Turf.
Bloody hell, Nick Hancock.
Yeah.
Norman Hartnell.
And we're only at H's. We better speed this up. It's getting embarrassing.
Tom Hollander, who was in Footlights. Christ almighty. Rufus Jones. Christ almighty.
Matthew Holness, aka Garth Marenghi. Alex Horn, who is co-host of something called Taskmaster, which I've never seen.
I've seen Taskmaster.
I wonder should I review that for Screen Cleaner? It might be interesting to viewers to know what I thought of something that's been running for 10 years and I've never seen.
It depends on who. It depends who's on, what comedians they have on, because some of them are dicks.
Right. So the strength of the show.
Okay. It runs on what comedians they bring in.
Clive James, Rufus Jones, Paul King, Tim Key, Hugh Laurie, of course, Fry and Laurie. A lot of Private Eye people.
I'm noticing that, actually, yeah.
Jonathan Lynn.
Bloody hell, Miriam Margolyes.
Yeah. David Mitchell and Webb seem to have come through there as well.
Yeah.
So there's
Kevin McLeod.
Players.
Julian Moore.
Des O'Connor, Simon Munnery, John Oliver.
John! Praise be.
There's Sue Perkins.
What the heck? John Oliver's only 2 years older than me? What the fuck?
Oh my, John Luke Roberts, Spats. Was Spats that terrible? Oh no, it wasn't. Okay, I started to worry Spats was that terrible children's BBC sitcom about a hip-hop chip shop.
There's Griff.
This was appalling. Salman Rushdie and his comic turns. Uh, Tony Slattery.
Oh my God, Tony Slattery.
Richard Stilgo. Emma Thompson. Sandy Togsville.
Sandy.
Peter Tranchel. Richard Ranch.
We went to
Also
Gunville and Keith.
from Whose Line Is It Anyway? He was the usually unseen musician on that show.
Oh, get to fuck. Phil Wang's 11 years younger than me. That's just wrong.
Who's Phil Wang?
He's a comedian. He's quite funny.
Never heard of him.
You know?
Oh, he's a radio comedian. A
Yeah.
lot. As well as a stand-up. Yeah. I should probably listen.
He's been on a couple of episodes of Have I Got No, News of the World.
Now, am I hallucinating or? Yeah, there's the scriptwriter and creator of Spooks and an actress from Spooks.
Ooh.
So if you've been paying really close attention, you probably picked up on more than a few collaborations on particular projects.
Oh my God.
So it really is and this is covering from 1928 to maybe 100 years almost, or 80 years, say.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yes. Jan Ravens. Holy fuck. Jan Ravens is brilliant. She was in Dead Ringers.
So, I mean, we can interpret this as like elite little conspiracies and, against us working classes. But also, look at it this way. People form communities. We get together and we bat around ideas. Kevin and Helena put me and Katie in the same room, directed their audiences towards Katie. I met Katie. Katie and I conspired, and we're broadcasting tonight. Katie and I told you about us. You came to see us. You're here tonight. You're part of that community. That's what we do as humans. We network and we build things, and that's perfectly innocent, and it's perfectly functional, it's perfectly healthy, and it's just what happens. So it's not always a conspiracy, and in fact, in comedy, it's more important. Where comedy is not just for the sake of laughs, where it's a way to say things that you can't say in everyday speech, where you can share ideas that you maybe can't do in other ways, and where you can liberate somebody from their stresses, and give them a new way to think about things. So,
correct. Yes, we can. Scribby just put something rather profound and very true in the chat. A Cambridge or Oxford degree gets you straight to the top of the job interview pile every time.
Well, I find it hard to disagree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I find myself trying to mitigate my sharp extremes in these chats, Katie. The only thing I could mitigate or be the devil's advocate there, Scribby, is so I myself went to Oxford. Now, I went to a university called Oxford Brookes. In the 1950s, Oxford Brookes used to be a polytechnic. It's a new university. I'm not sure what year Oxford Brookes University opened. I could probably Google that really quickly.
Oh, you'll get it. Okay.
But we are talking fairly recently. Now, it should be said that Oxford Brookes actually got university status in 1992, so very recent. And I should also add the clarifier um, that Oxford Brookes is not part of the um, what is seen as the official Oxford University colleges um, that produce these people. So I can't remember the name of. Let's see. I'll probably have to Google that as well. But essentially, most of the university, there are a number of universities in Oxford.
You what, Scribby?
36
That's
colleges.
fucking mad.
There are 36 colleges.
Did they? Fucking hell. I didn't know that.
That's a lot. You've probably heard of most of them. I'm going to bring that up on a screen share as well, because this
Thank you.
might be worth diving into a bit more. You there at the top, you've got University College, Balliol, Merton, Stapleton Hall / Exeter College, Oriel, Queen's College, New College, Lincoln College, Magdalen College, Brasenose, Corpus Christi, Christchurch, Trinity, St John's, Jesus College, Wadham College, Pembroke College, Worcester College. So, yeah, there's 36. Now, Oxford Brookes is outside of that 36, but does cross over as something called the Westminster Institute, which, again, I haven't Googled, but kind of suggests that that is also part of, Westminster Institute of Education of Oxford Brookes University. All right, so yeah. Oh, okay. So ignore that. I thought there might have been some kind of link. That's just Westminster Institute is just a fancy name for Oxford Brookes University. In no way relates to these other 36. To come back around to my original point, I don't think it's so much the being in the geographical spot of Oxford that helps. I graduated in 2009 and have been on a permanently low income since. So low an income that I haven't been able to afford to pay back more than pennies of my student loan. So I guess that's not really a very strong argument. I guess what Scribby says, it is very different if you go to these 36 colleges. I mean, I'm sure there are people who've been through these colleges that are in my situation, that have experienced homelessness, long-term unemployment, and low income, who can't afford to pay back more than pennies of their loans. But I'd say those people are very much in the minority. A very, very tiny minority. But that's just a guess on my part.
This screen that we're seeing just now is, can you post a link to it? Because I'd be interested in finding out about that.
Sure.
You can just put it in the Discord if it's easier.
Yep, I will I'm just going to put this in general chat in Katie's
Thank you so
Discord.
much.
Because it's quite small on the screen, I'm just going to post it in Katie's Twitch and on my YouTube channel.
Thank you very much, Andy.
Just looking back, Mr. E reminds us Pink Floyd also went to the same university. Probably a fairly well-off one, which is kind of odd given. Yeah, I think Pink Floyd were an Oxford University, right? Which is kind of odd given their alleged counterculture image.
Kind of leftists. Kind of leftist. Definitely counterculture.
Oh, you know what? They
nice one,
I correct myself there. They were all enrolled at the London Polytechnic in Regent Street studying architecture. Or Sid Barrett, who was at Camberwell College of Arts. And also, I'm just gonna pin this comment here. When I can figure out how to do that. No, let's put user in timeout. I got into trouble with that before. There we go. Oh, I can ticker tape and put that on. Some interesting comments in Katie's stream. I just want to take a wee moment to read. Whoa, I'm missing quite a few good comments actually. My goodness. So going way back, Elron Hubward minds us Alexei Sale was a compare to comic strip in Clubland before the TV series. Absolutely. Alexei was doing an awful lot of work. In fact, there's a really good podcast. I think it might be with Stuart Lee, where he interviews Alexei Sale, and Alexei Sale talks about essentially being Britain's first stand-up comedian in a comedy club, because it was something Britain didn't have comedy clubs. It was an American thing. So Alexei was kind of pivotal in making that happen. I think a friend of his had decided to open a comedy club, and Alexei was the first man on, or was doing a comedy night, and they didn't really have a plan. Yeah. A lot of really good comments on Katie's Twitch stream. I wonder if I shared the screen, would it like go recursively? Shit, that's an incredible story. Scribby writes, I wrote 6 shows for BBC Radio and did not get past the first reading. So I resent my scripts. So I resent my scripts, faked my education, said I went to a public school and got a first from Cambridge. I got the 3rd reading before I was found out. You know what? That's just so goddamn entertaining. I'm not going to sit in judgment, and I completely empathise with what you had to go through. Elron writes a lot of the goodies tapes vanished as part of the BBC's dodgy recycling policy, something I wasn't aware of. I mean, I suppose I only think about old shows like Doctor Who and Z Cars disappearing. Don't think it's anything as modern and beautiful as the goodies. Um, yeah, a lot of Elron, a lot of the senior civil service are Oxbridge. Yeah. Absolutely happens. Scribby writes first class degree at Cambridge in some subjects means you automatically get a master qualification. Masters. I wasn't aware of that. That's quite mental. Um, Elron writing about their loans all going ping when they reach 50. So I think it's you might have to help me out here and maybe have further on down the chat. I know after a certain period of time, your loans are just wherever they're at, they're they're written off. I think it might is it 30 years maybe or is it when you're 50? I know that with me being 52 now, doing my degree 2000, getting my loan in 2005, that I am sort of coming up on that period where my loan is just going to be written off. It might be about 9 years or so.
25 years. It
25
gets paid. It gets forgotten, and it stays around for another 15 on your credit record. Then it gets wiped by the British state.
Wow, so I have 4 years to go.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So 25 years after the completion of your degree, if you haven't paid it back. But she might fuck with that. It's different up here, thank fuck. Student fees, what are those? Sorry.
Yeah, of course, Douglas Adams. Well, his Dirk Gently series is. I just read the first one, and it is what is the first Dirk Gently? Is it Holistic Detective Agency? Yeah, and it's head fuck. It's a beautiful head fuck.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Really dense. Really hard read. And I really enjoyed it as well. I actually my first introduction to Dirk Gently was the Netflix TV series.
Oh dear God.
I thought it was brilliant. I loved it. Only made 2 series, ended on a cliffhanger. I think it was the second TV series within a couple of years. BBC had made one about 3 or 4 years before that.
Oh. Correct, my dear. I feel for you all. Shanna just said in the chat, it's too expensive to get higher education over the other side of the pond. It sucks. I feel for my English English and Welsh compatriots, my comrades down there, having to pay for student fees. I was lucky. I was one of the first few, like first sort of couple of thousand, when they got rid of student fees up here, and I took full advantage of it. Might have taken me 20 years to get my fucking degree, but yes. You shouldn't be charging for an education. You really shouldn't. Doesn't make any sense to me. The country's going to need people.
And as much as I stand by the rights of teachers and praise for teachers, and genuinely I've met some amazing teachers and continue to do so, we are increasingly entering a system where we are just paying for, as Stephen put it, Super Hubby put it, that sheet of paper, because we have internet, we have information superhighway. It is possible to go and do all the work that a degree asks of you just through the internet without paying a single penny. But you don't get that bit of paper without putting cash down.
Unfortunately, yes.
I know there's universities that do stuff cheap, that offer free degrees. There's a lot of that sort of altruistic online universities offering the full works, the full course for free. You can go and do a degree for free, but getting a bit of paper that says you've got a grade, that's something you have to pay for.
Thanks, Gribby.
How are you feeling, Katie? I noticed you had you were in a bit of pain there.
I had to go and stretch. Had to go and do some movement. My right knee isn't doing too. Oh, I will relay the story. When Super Hubby went out earlier on today to go to our local supermarket, our shopping centre, there's a chicken shop on the corner right opposite our leisure centre and library in Springburn. And the chicken shop had haphazardly or negligently put out their used oil, and it spilled all over the pavement, and he went arse over tit. So he had to come back home, get showered, change over. His jeans were basically covered in oil and dirt and other things I don't want to think about. So he came back, he got showered, got changed over, put on new clothes, and went back out to get the shopping that we needed. Then when he came back in, his right knee, like both inside and outside, and right underneath the patella, the kneecap, it is bruised to fuck. And his right shoulder is bruised and scraped as well. I would say, go and say to them, forcefully but politely, free chicken, please. Thank you for the rest of my life. His jeans are still garbed. I put them into a boil wash when he came back in. So he went and had a shower. I put the jeans in and I checked the rest of the stuff in the machine and just said, fuck this. I put in an extra pod and put it on boil wash, and they're still not clean. They're on the radiator out in the hallway next to the front door. I'm more worried about his knee. It is really quite a dark blue, nearly purple bruising on his right knee now. His movement is as bad as mine's. And he's usually got he's fairly good movement. He no joint issues as much. So him moving like me. So we'll need to see in the morning how bad the bruising gets. And he's got bruises on his left leg as well. Yeah.
Send him our love. I'm sure there's a few in chat.
Yeah.
No, we're thinking of, is there is there any kind of, you might have already said this and I might have drifted off, but is there any kind of recourse? Like, can they give them some cash or
I
mean, what are you
don't.
doing?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they're open on the Sunday actually.
It shouldn't have happened.
It was Stephen Gracie wasn't. So the way this street is laid out, it's actually a hill that you go up. So we come down a set down the dual carriageway. At the side of the dual carriageway, there's a path. Then there's stairs and there's the car park for the leisure centre. Then you turn around the corner, and on the corner that's where the chicken shop is. Then it's a hill that you go up a bit to get to the shopping centre. So he wasn't coming down, he was going up the hill towards the shopping centre. Good thing he wasn't coming down the hill, because fucking hell, I wouldn't be able to think, because it's kind of steep at that bit, at that corner, going round that corner is kind of steep. Quite a decent gradient. So he was going up the hill instead of coming down it. So I'll need to see if they're open on a Sunday or not, and see if there's anything we can do.
Yeah. I mean, what can you do apart from like get free food for a month? It doesn't really help with where you are now. And there's not really anything good. And it's just going to be, people might say, oh, you should get a claim in. Well, you go and get a claim in first. You be our fucking lawyer then. It's very easy for a third party to tell you what you should and shouldn't do.
Yeah.
When they're not the one dealing with it right here, right now.
Yes.
Yeah. It's always worth that wee litmus test before you give somebody your wisdom. Ask yourself, would you be happy to do this thing for them that you're telling them they should do? Handy little litmus test.
It's actually quite a good litmus test, that one. Yeah.
I'm going to go and get something to eat, and I will come on over to your Twitch stream and hang with your people there.
Cool.
This is what they call in Twitcher terms. Do you call you Twitchers? Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Raid. We're going to raid to Katie's Twitch, which means opening a new app or going over in a browser. You shouldn't have apps. You should be able to use your browser. And Twitch is fine. It's fine. And there's nice people over there. So
there is indeed. There's lovely people over here. There is always lovely people
and
over here.
And they're talkative tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some nights they're not talkative, but tonight they are, and it's
brilliant,
really interesting stuff.
Kentucky Fried Hobby.
Oh,
I miss that's going to be. Oh no, it makes me laugh, and quite accurate. First on the agenda, check the news in the morning.
Maybe that's a horrible way to speak. I'm pinning the message.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
So, yep. Thank you all for being so welcome and for continuing to be welcome when I see you in about 15, 20 minutes. If we're still about then. What a great evening. Thanks very much, Katie.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll be back next week, actually. I might want to take a skip week because I'd be in the prep zone for Screen Cleaner. But we'll have a chat during the week. I think if we can both have the energy to do another collab next week, we'll definitely want to. So
yeah. Cool. Yeah. Talk to me during the week, of course.
Well, thanks for joining us, Mr. E. Okay. Talk to you in text and elsewhere on the internet. Sunday Comics in about 9 hours, 11 hours.